Hello, welcome back to my channel. I hope you can hear me. Thank you very much for joining me. If you're new around here, my name's Kit, and this is my car. And today I'm doing another special nighttime adventure. The last one went quite well, apart from the fact that I chickened out. So I'm going to try it again, but this time I'm going to do something even scarier. Yes, that's right. If I wasn't scared enough the last time, I'm really setting myself a challenge now. This is an overnight challenge at a graveyard. I did a Google search for the scariest graveyard near me, and I found a corker. It's properly terrifying. So I'm going to go to this graveyard and review a book. And the book I'm going to review, I've actually read. Last time I thought I'd try and read the book whilst doing the overnight challenge. It didn't go so well. I was attacked by werewolves. So this time round, I've already read and finished the book. And I loved it, so I'm raring to go. I can't wait to review this book. It's called Maggie's Grave, and I'll put a graphic up so that you can see who wrote it, because I've forgotten his name. I want to say Steven Soderbergren, but that's a director. David something? David Soderbergren? David Soder something. Anyway, it was a fabulous book. It's a horror novel, and it's called Maggie's Grave. The grave plays an important part in the book, so I thought, why not review it at a graveyard? So that's what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to sleep in the car, properly this time. I'm going to do a stealth overnight camp in a Fiesta. I don't know if it's ever been done before. I could be the first. I could start a new movement, a whole new trend. I would love to have a camper van, but in the absence of a camper van, I'm going to use my trusty old Fiesta. So it's going to be a tight squeeze, but I have adapted the back slightly. Basically, what I've done is I've put the seats down and put a duvet and some blankets and some pillows in. So I've adapted my car to be a camper for the night. I'm going to camp out next to the graveyard, and if I survive the night, I will do a review in the graveyard in the morning when it's light.
This is how we end up. Shades of blue and gray. I feel just like an empty bottle. My dreams are on delay. I just wanna climb on top of a hill and throw it all away, away. Take me far away before my mind spins off and I am all derailed. Just drive all the way to the rainbow's end. Just drive, and we'll never turn our backs again.
Where am I now? Holy moly. I'm just going to turn it round. This is all very scary. Oh, I'm here. Oh shit, it's very, very scary. I'm right next to a graveyard, and there's no parking anywhere. This is, Jesus Christ, there are shopping trolleys literally in the road. This is the scariest place I've ever been, and it's urban. Okay, I've parked up in the boonies. I'm quite nervous. I'm outside a house that appears to be some sort of squat, so I'm not exactly sure. I'm going to give you a look. I feel very conspicuous, but I'm going to show you. It looks really dodgy. So I don't feel particularly safe outside this house, but I feel safer here than I did outside the graveyard. The graveyard is just, 200 yards behind me. I've found a little side street to hide in, but I don't feel very stealthy, especially with this big light on, so I'm going to turn the light off. I'm going to see about my sleeping arrangements. I went for the green spooky light. It was probably not a good idea. I can change the colour, but I'm going to leave it on green and spooky for now. This is my bed. I'm going to try and get in. Okay, well, here I am plotted up inside my car. This is not very stealthy because, my car isn't a camper and it's not even fitted out for stealth camping in urban or in rural areas. I've got nothing covering my windows and I've got a light on in here and there's a 360-degree view of me in the back of my car. But I've got my duvet, I've got my pillows. I'm kind of scrunched up a little bit in the boot, but I'm a little bit snuggly as well. It's fairly warm, so I've only brought a light blanket with me. These are Smith's scampi flavoured fries. They're very yummy and they're extremely fishy because I'm a firm believer in the notion that when you wake up in the morning, your morning breath needs to smell like scampi. I'm not as scared as I was when I was in the woods or at the railroad crossing. In those places, I felt genuine terror. In fact, it would be fair to say that in those places I was so afraid that if I hadn't run away when I did, I probably would have shat myself lifeless. It's a thing. I read it in Bryson. Here, I'm not terrified. I'm not even scared per se. Yeah, the best way to describe what I'm experiencing at the moment is profound uneasiness. Anyway, I'm going to eat my crisps, work on my morning breath, and then I will see you in the morning. This is a very spooky place. I'm quite scared now. I don't feel very comfortable. Also, I need a wee. And I've got a cramp in my leg. But I'm frightened to do anything about it. So I'm just going to stay scrunched up here and hope that I'm still alive and not in a puddle of wee in the morning. So, I had a rough night last night. I didn't get very much sleep. Now I'm being eaten by mosquitoes. And I've ripped my pants. My balls are hanging out. I'm going to have to pixelate my testicles. And that's a first on Kit's World. But anyway, let's get this review over with so that I can go somewhere where there aren't mosquitoes. So finally, after much ado, here is my review of Maggie's Grave by David Sodergren, a fabulous modern Scottish author. This was published in 2020, so for me it was practically yesterday, and it's a witchy folk tale horror. That's how I've read it described. It was a thrilling, exciting, visceral, gory read. I absolutely loved it. I bought and downloaded it for my Kindle after seeing the review by Amy at BookTube with Amy. She raved about it, she gave it 5 stars, and I must say I'm inclined to agree. The first chapter was, without a doubt, the best first chapter I have ever read of any book ever, and it deals with Maggie, who may or may not be a witch, but either way, she's a pregnant lady living on her own up a mountain in a little cottage, and she's got pregnant by one of the villagers, who of course now is disavowing all knowledge of her, and of course, because it's 300 years in the past, they've decided that she's a witch and therefore needs to die, because they're driven by the whole religious fervour thing. So when they discover that she's pregnant, of course, naturally they cut her open and pull the baby out of her womb. And this sets you up for the kind of goriness that you're going to encounter throughout the book. They kill Maggie, they kill the baby, and then 300 years passes in the blink of a chapter. All of that happens in chapter 1. It's a fabulous chapter 1. Chapter 2 and the rest of the book is set in the modern day, in a small, dead Highland town that is fictitious, and I think it's got 47 residents and only 4 teenagers left. And there is a reason for the town dying, and there's a reason for so few young people as well. I didn't warm to any of the characters. I liked Maggie. I didn't warm to any of the young characters, and I'm not sure if I was supposed to. I was certainly supposed to be confused about who I was rooting for, and that confusion carried on throughout the book. The writing is beautiful. The characters are very well drawn. Each of the characters is very distinctive. They have their own quirks, they have their own history, their own internal monologues, and the dialogue also is very, very realistic. And at this point, I should probably pause to give a spoiler warning, because I am going to be discussing things that are definitely spoilers, and also a content and a language warning. So we meet these 4 teenagers at the bowling alley, which is the only night spot in the town, where they just go and bowl and get drunk, and that's their lives. And then a new person arrives, a visitor from America called Courtney, who is very pretty. And so, of course, the 2 male teenagers immediately want to shag her. So anyway, the boys, hoping to get laid, think that they can impress this American visitor, Courtney, by taking her to visit Maggie's grave. Maggie, the legendary witch who had been executed 300 years ago. So they journey up the mountain to visit Maggie's grave. And this is where things really get cooking, because Steve and Courtney begin shagging on Maggie's grave, and this triggers some sort of supernatural event. Steve gets his penis trapped inside Maggie's vagina, and he feels around, and all of this is described very graphically. He feels around his shaft trying to find out what it's hooked up on, and he discovers there is a hand inside Courtney's vagina gripping tightly to his penis. So he wrenches himself away, ripping his penis off in the process, and slowly bleeds to death. And meanwhile, the hand that held the penis pushes itself out of Courtney's vagina, followed by a witch, Maggie Wall, the legendary witch. She's reborn, as it were, by tearing herself out of Courtney's vagina and ripping Courtney up pretty badly and fatally in the process. So now Maggie goes on a rampage. She's looking for her baby. That's all she wails throughout the whole book. Where's my baby? Where's my baby? Probably in a Scottish accent. Anyway, the remaining teenagers are on the run, and Maggie chases them through the town. And there are various grotesque, sick, depraved, awful set pieces that I absolutely loved that happen along the way. The owner of the bowling alley goes to take a shit. His shitting process is described to us in graphic detail, and then Maggie's hand reaches up from the toilet bowl. She's somehow crawled into the pipes and essentially rips open his arsehole, spilling his entrails all over the place. Beth walks in and has a good look at his penis while all this is going on. This whole book is a little bit like Final Destination. Every single person is going to get killed in a really horrible, brutal, graphic and unexpected way. And it's kind of fun imagining how the next person's going to die. Are they going to have their head squashed or ripped off? Are they going to have their genitals removed and fed to them? Are they going to be eviscerated? Are they going to have their spinal column ripped out? Maggie is on a killing spree, and she literally kills every single person in the town. The quality of the author's prose is really good. It's very easy reading, very descriptive, very visceral, very gritty. My only complaint really is that Maggie should have stayed in human form. I liked the fact that her witchiness was kind of ambiguous. As I read it, Maggie wasn't a witch, at least not at the beginning. Amy thought that Maggie was a witch, I think, according to her review. But when Maggie comes back after she's reborn through the medium of Courtney Vaginaage, she's kind of all twisted and elongated. She's got a long neck and she's kind of a monster. And for me, that took a little bit of the fear out of it, because it was similar to the ending for Stephen King's It. The whole thing is really scary up until the silly spider at the end. And it felt a little bit like that with Maggie. If she'd been in human form, I think it would have been a lot more chilling. Where the story of the eye was sick and, in my opinion, pointless, Maggie's Grave is sick and exquisite. It has a coherent and compelling narrative written in an easy and enjoyable prose style. It's a 5-star read from me. And on that note, I think I'll call it a day. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you haven't already, you know what to do. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, share, comment, do all the good stuff, and I will see you next time. See you later.